Hi, I'm Natasha, and this is Nightline, the top stories. Malaysia maintains sovereign credit rating at A- with a stable outlook. And gas pipeline leak in Kerteh forces road closure, area sealed off to public and workers. Malaysia has maintained its sovereign credit rating at A- with a stable outlook despite uncertainties in global trade flows. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said the latest review by S&P Global Ratings reflects the country's strong macroeconomic management under the Madani government. Anwar, who is also finance minister, said in a statement that the achievement points to stronger economic growth prospects compared to countries with similar income levels. He noted that S&P also highlighted that the rating was underpinned by a diversified economy, continued political stability, sustained growth momentum, a balanced external position, and a narrowing fiscal deficit. The current political stability also supports policy making, enabling economic reforms and allowing fiscal consolidation to move forward. S&P's stable outlook also reflects its expectation that Malaysia's growth momentum and policy environment will support modest fiscal improvements over the next 2 to 3 years. Anwar also reaffirmed the Madani government's commitment to continue focusing on improving quality of life for Malaysians and advancing economic reforms. He added that comprehensive reforms will also be pursued to elevate Malaysia to new heights. The Public Finance and Fiscal Responsibility Act will further ensure that fiscal consolidation stays on course while providing sufficient support to sustain economic growth. S&P Global Ratings' decision to reaffirm Malaysia's sovereign credit rating at A- with a stable outlook sends a strong signal of confidence in the country's economic fundamentals. Putra Business School economist, Associate Professor Ahmad Razman Abdul Latif, said despite global uncertainties, Malaysia is seen as maintaining fiscal discipline while balancing growth, a factor that reassures international investors of the country's resilience.
This rating not only support Malaysia's credibility in global financial market, but could also encourage continued capital inflows, particularly in government bonds and equities, as investors look for stability in emerging markets.
A gas pipeline leak was reported on Saturday morning at the East Coast Rail Link or ECRL Section 5 project site in Kerteh, Terengganu. Kemaman District Police Chief Superintendent Muhammad Razi Rosli said authorities were alerted to the incident at about 9:50 a.m. The incident was reported about 2 kilometers from the main road. It did not, however, affect any villages or residential areas. The leak involved a butane gas pipeline identified as a highly flammable substance. As a safety measure, the area was completely sealed off to both the public and workers. Gas supply through the affected pipeline was also shut down temporarily to enable the contractor to carry out maintenance work. In addition, the main road connecting Kerteh and Rangoon in Kemaman was also closed to all traffic. An incident control center was also activated, with authorities maintaining close monitoring of the situation. Meanwhile, police have assured that the affected area remains safe.
Kita tengok jarak tempat lokasi kejadian ini dengan perkampungan ataupun kawasan perumahan di sekitar ini lebih kurang 2.5 km jauh. So pada pandangan kita tempat ini selamat dan masyarakat di sekitar usah gusar ataupun usah risaulah, kawasan ini masih selamat.
Residents in the surrounding area have been advised against open burning to prevent any untoward incidents. Petronas has also shut 2 main gas valves along a 10-kilometer stretch from Kampung Semayor to Kampung Cabang. The process of purging gas from the affected pipeline is expected to take 2 days. In the meantime, Petronas Gas Berhad, or PGB, has assured that gas supply to customers will not be disrupted following the pipeline leak in Kerteh. In a statement, the company said the situation remains under control and that there is no cause for concern, adding that its priority at this stage is ensuring the safety and well-being of the surrounding community. The statement added that continuous monitoring is being carried out, with the affected pipeline already isolated. For the time being, gas supply will continue to be delivered to customers through a loop line within the network. PGB is also working closely with the authorities, and further updates will be provided from time to time. The Health Ministry is closely monitoring the spread of the new COVID-19 variant XFG, even as the country remains in the endemic phase. Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad said there are currently no major concerns about its severity, with only one death reported so far. Zulkifli said the XFG subvariant only accounts for 9.1% of COVID-19 cases. He noted that the variant does not appear to cause more severe symptoms compared with other Omicron strains, although it is more transmissible. The most common symptoms are respiratory distress without any unusual or severe signs. The public has been urged not to panic, but to seek immediate treatment if they develop any symptoms. Meanwhile, the Ministry and the Crisis Preparedness and Response Centre remain on full alert and are taking the current situation seriously. It was reported earlier that one new death was recorded in the latest epidemiological week involving a 91-year-old man. This brings the total number of COVID-19 related fatalities in Malaysia to 3 so far this year. The Road Transport Department has found that a total of 2.3 million competent driving license or CDL holders are currently inactive. According to Director General Dato' Aidi Fadli Ramli, said their licenses have either expired or have not been renewed for more than 3 years. In a statement, ID said it is an offence to drive with an inactive license, as this poses various risks to both the driver and other road users. He said anyone driving a motor vehicle on the road must hold a valid driving license in accordance with the Road Transport Act. He said those with inactive licenses, if they wish to continue driving, are required to retake parts 2 and 3 of the driver's education curriculum test at any nearby driving institute in order to reactivate their licenses. He also urged all CDL holders whose licenses have expired for under 3 years to renew them promptly to avoid having to retake the tests. Small and medium enterprises, or SMEs, are the heartbeat of Malaysia's economy. However, with shifting global trends, SMEs now face fresh challenges, from slowing digital growth and rising costs to mounting pressure to adopt sustainable practices. SME Association of Malaysia President Chin Chee Seong said the current tax system also leaves little room for special consideration of small businesses.
If we look at our tax system, there's not much incentive for the SMEs. Because there's, of course, there's two categories. Once you achieve a certain amount, you pay 17%. After that, you pay 24%. So you don't really give them a special treatment.
Chin shared these insights while appearing as a guest on TV3's flagship business and financial talk show, Money Matters, which aired on Saturday. He said that beyond taxation, SMEs are also grappling with an increasingly saturated digital marketplace. Nevertheless, he noted that while the challenges are real, adopting environmental, social and governance, or ESG principles, could give SMEs a competitive edge.
But of course, you can start with very easy implementation. Why ESG? The question is, why ESG? Right? ESG is not so much a loan for you to embrace or comply with, but it's also a way of life for our next generation. Right?
Police arrested a 35-year-old man linked to a house break-in after a high-speed chase from Manjung to Berang, Perak on Saturday. Officers were forced to shoot at the suspect's car tire to bring him to a halt. Earlier, a 2-minute 50-second video went viral showing a police patrol car chasing a multi-purpose vehicle near the Berang R&R. Perak Police Chief Datuk Nur Hisam Nordin said the incident occurred at about 12:30 p.m. The suspect's MPV was initially spotted in Manjung, and on noticing the police, he sped away along the Manjung-Tapah route. He then entered the Plus Highway, where officers pursued him all the way to the Berang R&R area. In a desperate bid to escape, the suspect drove against traffic before attempting to re-enter the highway. However, the MPV was successfully intercepted and blocked, leading to the suspect's arrest. Checks on the vehicle uncovered several items used in break-ins, along with a jacket bearing a police logo. The suspect was then brought to the Manjung District Police Headquarters for further investigation. In Pulau Pinang, a car salesman was remanded for 4 days after allegedly planning and hiring 2 men to rob him last Wednesday. A lorry driver and a security guard were also remanded to assist police investigations into the false report made by the suspect. The remand order, which runs until this Tuesday, was granted by the Bukit Mertajam Magistrates Court. The 42-year-old main suspect had filed a report claiming he had been robbed by 2 men on a motorcycle who made off with 60,000 ringgit belonging to a client. However, investigations into the 2 men aged 33 and 38 who were arrested in Sungai Petani, Kedah on Friday revealed that the suspect had actually hired them for 3,000 ringgit to stage the robbery. Both admitted to being involved but said they had yet to receive payment. The main suspect also confessed to spending the client's money for personal use. The case is being investigated under the Penal Code for gang robbery. Attempt to smuggle yaba pills worth 1.8 million ringgit foiled. More news from the local front after this breather.
Susah buat pilihan. Boleh tolong saya?
Untuk anda yang ke Ipoh, pelbagailah menu yang kita boleh pilih. Dia punya kuah memang betul-betul pekat dan rasa dia punya manis udang tu tau. Tengok dia punya portion dia. Air terjun. Tengok tu, pekat. Besar betul. Rasa rempah-rempah dia tau. Rempah tu rasa macam puff. Warna dia. Dia punya lembut macam ni. Betul-betul menyelerakan. Jangan lupa saksikan Jalan-Jalan Cari Makan Misi Mencari Kari setiap hari Ahad 11.30 pagi di TV3 dan stream juga melalui iTonton. Neck with Chef. Ni, Pamit April ni, aku berhenti kerja bertahun-tahun, belajar law dekat UK, tiba-tiba tak jadi chef. Pasti nak buat kerja apa pula? Ambil cafe.
Daripada kita tunggu orang offer kita kerja, diri kerja kita. Hubungan saya dengan Alia kan tak berapa baik sangat. Macam mana saya nak pujuk dia? Awak kena bantu saya.
Saya nak Alia Nova datang ke kafe Bunga Telang.
Saya berguam bertauliah untuk membela.
Memang aku perlu kalian untuk boostkan kafe ni. Haris tu tahu tak yang kau pengguna dia?
Nisa tu memang ditakdirkan untuk ada dalam hidup kau. Aku nampak betapa syoknya kau dekat dia.
Awak perangkap hati saya. Dan tak ada tempat lain lagi yang buatkan saya rasa selesa dan indah selain daripada awak.
Buku orang punya. Tapi you are better than this, Nisa.
Saya sebenarnya nak beritahu dekat awak yang saya dengan Alia.
Malaysia is expected to experience a brief La Nina phenomenon early next year, which could alter rainfall patterns across the country. However, according to the Malaysian Meteorological Department, or Met Malaysia, conditions are forecast to return to neutral soon after. Its long-term weather outlook shows most international climate models predicting that the current El Niño Southern Oscillation will remain neutral with a 56% likelihood through October. After that, a brief La Nina is expected before conditions normalize again. The phenomenon is expected to affect rainfall patterns across Southeast Asia, including Malaysia, bringing heavier downpours and raising the risk of flooding. For now, the country remains in the final phase of the southwest monsoon, which is expected to last until the end of September. A police report has been filed after information on a child witness in the inquest into Zara Khairina Mahathir's death was leaked online. Lawyer Datuk Ram Singh, representing the child witness referred to as Student A, said the report was lodged at the Luyang police station in Kota Kinabalu at about 4 p.m. on Friday. According to Ram, he wants the police to probe the leak of the minor's personal information to identify those responsible and take appropriate action. This is to protect the witness and preserve the integrity of the inquest. On Friday, the child witness was scheduled to testify in the evening after the 8th witness, Azhari Abdul Sagab, had completed his testimony. However, the leak prompted the inquest, which had entered its 10th day, to be adjourned to Monday after the minor was deemed emotionally unfit to testify. Ram said then that the leaked information included the witness's statement, which was meant to be tendered in the coroner's court, but had instead been widely circulated on social media, including WhatsApp. The lawyer also said the incident had caused unnecessary distress to his client and her family. A bid to smuggle 450,000 Yaba pills worth 1.8 million ringgit into Malaysia using a courier service was foiled after the attempt was detected by Thai authorities. The drugs were seized during a raid on a courier distribution hub in Saitong, Sungai Golok on Friday. The 3 p.m. raid was conducted by the Sungai Golok Narcotics Administration Center following a tip-off about a large-scale drug shipment using a courier service. Surveillance was also conducted, but no individuals turned up to collect the parcels. The operation involved district officers and local volunteers. Initial investigations revealed the drugs originated from a northern Thai province and were destined for Malaysian buyers, including in Kelantan. The seized pills were handed over to the Sungai Golok police for further action. Major European airports crippled by disruptions. The details when Nightline returns.
Nona, sumber inspirasi menyala, style yang memukau dan cerita hidup yang tak pernah dilupakan.
Daripada bermula karier saya dalam bidang perancang, peluang ini dibuka secara adil. Tidak ada perbezaan jantina.
Lepas saya dah jadi pelakon ni, saya rosak. Kenapa kena bagi tahu dengan semua orang siapa aku? Ini yang menjadikan saya remis hak. Saya ada rahsia saya.
Masakan kita cendawan tanda sawit dengan babat hitam belada. Selamat mencuba. Top 5 Carta Muzik-Muzik 40 minggu ini.
Anya, mana kamu? Tapi bahaya kalau dia jumpa dengan pengganas tu lagi.
Kan Papa dah cakap pada kamu jangan nak pandai-pandai merayau seorang-seorang.
Maafkan saya.
Saya kena berhati-hati.
Saya tak sabar nak tahu jawapannya. Cepatlah, cepatlah. Boleh bagi surat ni kepada dia?
Saya takkan sekali-kali kalah pada budak-budak yang main helang macam ni.
Inilah misi Spy X Family. Setiap Ahad 11 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Suspek ini dipercayai telah melakukan pembunuhan dan seterusnya melupuskan mangsa.
Kalau Salvan bersama seorang lagi yang masih bebas dituduh membunuh Nur Rahayu Kamaruddin.
Saya ingat macam saya cakap tadi lah, remaja hilang biasa. Tapi bila saya terdengar satu perkara tu, satu benda yang dia cakap, suara Ayu menjerit sebelum dia hilang.
Dan kawan dia cakap, tak boleh macam ni, nanti polis tahu. Kau tinggal macam ni, nanti masalah. Kau pergi bakar balik.
On to the foreign front. Major European airports, including Brussels, Berlin, and London's Heathrow, were hit by cyber-related disruptions on Saturday, affecting automated check-in and baggage drop systems, causing widespread delays. Some operations at Heathrow were taken offline after a service provider's software was targeted. The airport said Collins Aerospace, which handles check-in and boarding for multiple airlines globally, was experiencing a technical issue impacting departures. Brussels and Berlin airports also confirmed they were affected, with automated systems shut down, forcing manual check-in and boarding. Brussels reported at least 10 flight cancellations and 17 delays of over an hour, calling the impact large as of Saturday morning. So far, no group or state has claimed responsibility for the attack, and there is no evidence of data theft. At least 47 Palestinians were killed on Saturday in Israeli airstrikes and drone attacks across the Gaza Strip as the army renewed warnings for residents to evacuate Gaza City and move south. Most casualties were reported in Gaza City, where at least 40 people were killed. Eyewitnesses and medical sources said the strikes hit a shelter, a displacement tent, civilian gatherings and homes, alongside the detonation of booby-trapped robots in northern neighborhoods. Authorities added that Israeli drones fired randomly at homes in both the north and south, wounding more civilians. UN Chief Antonio Guterres warned that Gaza is suffering the worst level of death and destruction he has ever witnessed and urged the world not to be intimidated by Israel. To date, the death toll in Gaza has climbed to more than 65,000, with over 166,000 others injured. In a related development, Russia has expressed regret that the UN Security Council remains unable to end the violence and humanitarian crisis in Gaza due to repeated U.S. vetoes. In a statement, the Russian Foreign Ministry reiterated that Moscow's position on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict remains consistent. It stressed that lasting peace and security in the region will be impossible without a just settlement of the Palestinian issue and the fulfillment of the legitimate rights of the Palestinian people. On Thursday, a group of non-permanent Security Council members again tried to pass a resolution calling for a ceasefire, the release of hostages, and humanitarian access. All council members supported the text except the United States, which cast its sixth veto since the crisis escalated.
In favor of the draft resolution contained in document.
U.S. President Donald Trump has signed a proclamation requiring an annual fee of $100,000 or about 420,700 ringgit for companies seeking to sponsor H-1B worker visas. The H-1B visa is commonly used by highly skilled foreign workers, including software engineers and IT professionals. Trump claimed the number of foreign workers in science and technology more than doubled to 2.5 million between 2000 and 2019 and said the program is often abused. U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said the new policy aims to protect local jobs, adding that Washington must train its own graduates rather than rely on foreign labor. The new measure is expected to have a major impact on technology companies and industries that depend on highly skilled international talent. A volcano in eastern Indonesia has erupted multiple times, spewing towers of ash kilometers into the sky after authorities raised its alert level to the highest on Saturday. The Lewotobi Laki-Laki volcano, a 1,584-meter twin-peaked mountain on Flores Island, launched into a series of eruptions late Friday. The largest, at 10:46 p.m. local time, blasted volcanic material 6 kilometers above its summit. Activity continued into Saturday morning, with several more eruptions, including one that sent an ash column 2.5 kilometers high. Indonesia's volcanology agency has urged residents and tourists to remain at least 6 kilometers away from the crater, warning of dangerous ash clouds and the risk of lahar floods if heavy rain falls. A local airport in the town of Maumere suspended flights following the eruptions. Authorities said they will review the situation on Sunday before deciding whether to reopen. On to sports now, badminton and the 2025 China Masters. Malaysia's campaign in the Super 750 tournament remains alive, with Chen Tangjie and Toh Yiwei flexing their muscles as mixed doubles world champions to upset world number one pair Feng Yanjie and Huang Dongping on Saturday. The world number 3 duo fought back after dropping the first game 22-24, showing resilience to level the match, and then outplayed the defending champions in the decider 21-19, 21-17. The win marked their 9th straight victory since being crowned world champions. Chen and Toh will next face Thailand's Dechapul Pavaranukroh and Supisara Peisampran in the final. But it was the end of the road for men's doubles stars Aaron Chia and So Woo Yik, who fell 17-21, 14-21 to their longtime rivals from India, Satwik Sairaj Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty. The defeat also denied the Malaysians revenge for their painful World Championships loss in Paris last month, where the Indians stopped them in the quarterfinals. Moving on to football, the Super League. 2 matches lit up Saturday night. PDRM FC cruised to a 3-1 win over Kelantan, the Real Warriors. Meanwhile, Negeri Sembilan had to come from behind to hold Imigresen to a 1-1 draw at City Stadium. The visitors were stunned in the 26th minute when Colombian striker Wilmar Jordan Gill finished off a brilliant through ball from Eduardo Sosa. But Negeri Sembilan struck back in first half injury time when Jovan Motika tapped in from close range after A. Selvin produced a clever run and crossed from the right. Both sides traded attacks after the break, but no further goals came. With the result, Negeri Sembilan remained 5th in the table on 5 points, while Imigresen sit 11th with 2 draws. PMB United, a sports and recreation club under Pelaburan Mara Berhad on Saturday, organized the 2025 Pickleball Media X PMB United tournament. The event brought together 40 participants, comprising 20 representatives from media agencies, including TV3 and the New Straits Times Press, as well as 20 representatives from the Pelaburan Mara Group in a friendly competition aimed at strengthening corporate relations and encouraging networking. The tournament, which was launched by Pelaburan Mara's Chief Operating Officer, Muhammad Azhar Abdul Hamid, saw NSTP duo Muhammad Rohaizam Latif and Wan Huzairi Wan Husin crowned champions after defeating Pelaburan Mara's Muhammad Rabil Puyum, Shaharudin and Muhammad Nasir Abdul Munaim in the final. Also present were PMB Tijari's CEO, Norliza Abu Bakar, and Pelaburan Mara's Head of Strategic Communications, Taha Rushdi Muhammad Nazri. And that concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, here's a look at Mexicans evacuating a shopping center in Mexico City during a drill marking the 40th anniversary of the deadly 1985 earthquake and the 8th anniversary of the 2017 quake that shook the country. With that, I'm Natasha. Thank you for watching and stay safe.